Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you all. So thanks all. It's wonderful to see New York and the industry back in business and a full ballroom. This is probably one of our first keynotes in this post or whatever new normal that we live in. So thank you. It's such a pleasure and privilege to be here to share the latest chapter in the ongoing story of milk and Got Milk specifically. And as you can see that outdoor was a big part of what we tried to do this year, but outdoor with a twist, I think. So we look forward to sharing that story with all of you today.
Right.
As Barry already alluded to, next slide. This clicker is not working. Got Milk is one of the most iconic campaigns, in the history of advertising, particularly in this country. Milk is a nearly universal product. 94% of households in America still drink milk. So even though we face our challenges, we are everywhere all the time. And this campaign that many of you remember featured a virtual who's who of pop culture athletes, artists, celebrities across the ages. And so it's been a huge privilege to be able to work on this iconic campaign. Next, unfortunately, despite this really memorable campaign and the many millions of dollars spent behind it, milk has been on a very slow decline for many, many years. And so this is a challenge that I took when I took this job and roped in my friends at Yale into this incredible challenge, because this memorable marketing hasn't done quite enough to reverse the decline. Why, you ask? I mean, really, everything has changed. What hasn't changed in the last 20, 30, 40 years, much less the last 20 months? Competition is a huge issue for us. There's so many more choices for people of what they drink every day, from water to kombucha to CSD to everything. And milk just wasn't on the pedestal that it had been. In terms of habits, so much more consumption happens outside the home. And milk primarily is still an at-home product. And so this has been a challenge for us. Maybe the scariest challenge is just about values. What does it mean to be healthy? What does it mean to be a wellness product today? What does it mean to be responsible for the planet when you come from an animal? All this has been difficult for milk, and we frankly have lost our relevance over time. So we always talk about how milk has become meh. We are so familiar that we're practically forgettable. We're so everyday that we've become ordinary. And our opportunity was to challenge that and to break out of that familiar rut of what milk is or isn't. And so we gave ourselves that challenge when we took this job. But the first thing we realized is to make a difference in the way consumers thought about us, we had to think differently about how we use our dollars, how we approach the marketplace, how we thought about media, how we talk about content, et cetera, et cetera. Change starts with us. Change starts with all of you in your organizations. I think as we've all lived through COVID over the last few months, the capacity for change in the human psyche is more than we ever could imagine. And in fact, a lot of work that will show you happened and was developed during COVID and over the last year. And I think change is upon us, and it's never going to be slower than today. But the first thing we did, importantly, was focus on this generation where we needed to influence the notorious Gen Z and Gen Alphas. I have one in my house right now. If anybody wants to adopt him, he is up for adoption. So, because he's got all the answers. I don't know anyone else who has teenagers here. So, but they really are truly a dynamic, powerful, challenging generation. They are digital natives. They are the children of digital natives. In some ways, they are more sophisticated about marketing than any of us. They've grown up in a true omni-channel world. Every screen, every touch point, they really want it to be interactive, engaging, personalized. They have high standards for marketers, and as brands and as companies, we have to meet them where they're at. They're also the most diverse generation ever, 50% multicultural. That distinction that we all grew up with between general market and multicultural is very fuzzy for this generation. And so hopefully you'll see that represented in our mindset, in our work. And so by focusing on this younger audience that we've lost the most traction with, it gave us a really different mindset about how we had to go about business and how we had to shake that kind of familiarity trap that we were in. So our job was to prompt reconsideration with a new positioning and a new message, the next chapter, as I like to say, about Got Milk. So we worked long and hard to figure out how we could reclaim milk's mojo. Milk is a miracle product. If it was invented in a lab today, with its taste and nutritional profile, I could sell it for lots and lots of dollars per ounce. But everyone understands it. So we wanted something that was assertive, that was muscular, that claimed back our right to be the drink that has powered humans since forever, really. We like to say powering athletes since 776 BC. It's powered extraordinary acts of performance, everyday accomplishments, and we wanted an idea that would claim that heritage back in a more proactive way and stop being on our heels and stop apologizing for being milk. We wanted to be loud and proud. So we're really excited when the agency came to us with this idea, with this line, as the next evolution of Got Milk. You're gonna need milk for that. We loved how it laid claim to how important milk was to athletes and everyday people. It's a stretchable line, it's distinctive, it's memorable, there's an ability, I think, to enter a culture. And so we were super excited, and Gail was a relatively new partner to us. And they showed a lot of creative courage. We pitched, they won, they showed up with one idea, and we bought it, and we did it, and here we are. And it's been quite a ride, indeed, and courtesy to Jeff and his genius and the genius of his team to bring us this idea, which we're just beginning to explore. And what we'll show you today is literally the tip of a very big iceberg of the many, many wonderful executions that they brought us. Because as all of you in the audience know, and a great idea is only as good as its execution. So here is a mere sampling of the many ways in which this idea can be leveraged. From your left to right, we're currently live and real with a football-based partnership involving lots of social video and social posting, featuring some great Team Milk athletes. I'm not a football fan, so don't ask me the names of any of the players. Ask Jeff later. The middle section, we had a huge group of contextual display featuring many sports, including leveraging our Olympic athletes and other sports like baseball that you'll see. And then obviously here, the thing we're here to talk about is, it's been a privilege to work on some really epic outdoor, something that Jeff and I share a lot of passion for, et cetera, et cetera. But importantly, the outdoor is only the beginning and maybe the center of a larger omni-channel plan, which is, I guess, the point of the summit today. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff a little bit to unpack what we did.
Thank you, Yen. TikTok. We want to chat a little bit about the power of this as it relates to the marketing efforts we're doing now for Milk Pep. Obviously, we know that this is a force to be reckoned with and how important it is as we look to target the youth audience. But I want to bring up a couple different stats that maybe you know and maybe some of them you don't know. The most obvious one is that there are 1 billion active users on TikTok currently. And just as a comparison, that's up from 2018, where there were 55 million. So there's an incredible growth. The second is the average time that consumers spend on the platform is 55 minutes. So for all of you, those out there who are parents and your child is kind of going through TikTok, they're just adding to the numbers. They're doing research on our behalf. That's all. But the numbers are staggering. The gender split is right down the middle, almost, with 60% women on the platform and 40% men on the platform. So these numbers are unbelievable in terms of, oh, here's another one. The amount of times that people visit TikTok per day can vary between 3 and 8. 8 being the younger demographic target and 3 being the older one. So there are a lot of incredible stats, but the one that I think is most fascinating and probably most relevant for us here today is the 61% of TikTok users who actually want brands to participate on their platform. And they want brands to participate on their platform if they engage in things that are uniquely TikTok, the challenges, the music, some of the social conversations that happen. So they want you there. They just don't want you there marketing to them. So with TikTok as our campaign hub, we wanted to demonstrate also milk's benefits. Everybody here knows that milk is good for you, but milk is also a performance fuel. And so the root of the campaign, you're going to need milk for that, also kind of like highlights the fact that milk is also aids performance and it helps your performance. TikTok is a platform that celebrates human performances. So there's a natural alignment that happens between what we do for your body and what TikTok has done for their platform. But it all started with out of home. That's why we're here. So I want to take you through kind of a little bit of a journey of what we're going to show in a video and explain a little bit of how we kind of brought this idea to life. So You're Going to Need Milk for That is our platform line. It is our kind of marching principle. It's what we put out there, and it's what Milk Pep bought. And we took that line, and what we did is that we put it on a billboard. And the billboard was designed to look like a climbing wall, much like what we would see here at Chelsea Piers. And the climbing wall, we didn't stop right there. We kept going. That was just the beginning of the idea. We took this climbing wall with You're Going to Need Milk for That, and we put it on top of a 30-story building in Kansas City, right smack in the middle of milk country. But we didn't stop there either. We got Academy Award-winning filmmaker Jimmy Chin and Kai Leitner, Olympic hopeful climber, pro climber, to shoot a live stunt right in the middle of Kansas City where Kai Leitner took a drink of milk and he climbed this board. And we filmed that as content, but we didn't stop there. We took that content and we put it right over to TikTok as the beginning of what would later be #HoldMyMilk, which the mechanic was really simple. Someone would grab a glass of milk, they would drink it, and then they would embark on something remarkable. So something appropriate for the platform, but it all started from out of home. And I'm going to play for you now a little example of what we put together.
Hold my milk.
Hold my milk. Hold my milk.
Hold my milk.
Hold my milk. Hold my milk.
Hold my milk.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and that was only the beginning. We obviously, that number is just on the TikTok platform, if you can believe that. And it was only one of a larger omni-channel plan. So we went on to use different kinds of advertising units to promote the campaign, including the top view of TikTok. But importantly, we tried to insert ourselves in culture. So for the two Twitter examples you'll see there, we sponsored a number of NBA highlights. We sponsored Twitter trends. And then for Snapchat, we inserted ourselves into various sports highlights to kind of promote and get the message out there.
So the theme of the conference is video is everywhere. So we love the fact that we were able to do a live demonstration of exactly that, how a traditional out-of-home board with a theme surrounding it could also find itself on the most important platform right now for youth. But we didn't stop there, did we, Ian? There's so many other things that we would love to share, but we'll just give you a snapshot of it. We entered the game Roadblocks, and if you remember, 2021 Olympics year, Milk was a co-sponsor of the Olympics, so we had informed an Olympic Village right in the center of the game engine of Roblox, where it featured some of the sports that were new to the Olympics this year. We did that with Roblox. With Snapchat, we created a series of live filters that allowed you to either be a skateboarder, because that was one of the new Olympic sports, or to train for the Olympics by simply raising your eyebrows, or moving your cheeks, or moving your lips. You could just do kind of like face training. Just, again, something for the kids. And then in places like Shopper, Kroger, Albertsons, and just to name a few, we created floor clings that with a QR code would allow you to have a firsthand experience of a skating opportunity in the store environment. So, in summary, took you here, showed how we could take that idea here.
Yeah, so some key takeaways to close with. I mean, the importance of cultural collaboration, using influencers and micro-influencers and creators, and really letting their voice be the lead. Sometimes the tendency is to have brands try to impose, and we found we did much better when we let the influencers speak to their own audiences and that we were a sponsor and an ally. Experimentation is so key. I think I'm preaching to the choir, the DPAA, obviously, of the importance of learning by doing, not assuming you know what's possible, and always committing to this constant iteration of length and placement, et cetera, et cetera. And then the last one, which is near and dear to my heart, I know I'm always pushing the agency on this, of the importance of being remarkable. There's so much media coming at consumers today, and creative effectiveness is still the best predictor of marketing effectiveness. And so I'm sure Jeff maybe wants to react to that, of the importance of being just noteworthy, because if you don't get recalled, you don't get any of the other benefits of messaging.
Yeah, if I may, before we close, remarkable is a standard that was set by Yen and the team at MilkPEP, that everything that we do and every way we reach the consumer will be remarkable, will be something that we want to share. So that's something that has become kind of a guiding principle for Gail and all of our partners. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for listening to our story.
Two remarkable people. Hold my milk. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. That was good. One question on Slido. I think let's throw up Slido. I think we only have time for one, and then we got a few quick messages, and then we're going to break for coffee. Create the beauty. I think we're going to put up Slido. Is that true, David and Ajay? Oh, it's behind me. Thank you. Thank you, David. Let's see. Is there chocolate milk? I just have to ask that one.
I'm not sure, but we could probably get some. It's quite delicious.
Okay, then we'll give you another one. How to use out of home, and I guess it's point of purchase as opposed to a pint of purchase. Oh, very funny. That's great. Anonymous, that's a great joke. You should have put your name up there. For a product that's mostly bought and packaged at home use. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like everything, there's a consumer journey, right? So even though the point of use is close to home, close to fridge, close to breakfast tables, people still have to go to the grocery store or wherever they buy it or buy it online. And so because we are trying to change attitudes first and foremost, we think there's an element of what we call the public proclamation of milk's benefits. And then the closer and closer you get to usage, we're using other mediums like mobile display or voice, et cetera, et cetera. So I mean, milk sounds like a simple product, and I've done a lot of CPG in my life. The consumer journey on milk is far more complicated than you can possibly imagine. So I think omnichannel makes a lot of sense for us as a result.
Yin and Jeff, let's give them a hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done.